I love going live.
Live. Hey, you. Come on, sit down. You're sitting at the grown-ups table. I'm your host, Jesse Pimpinella, and as always, my partner in crime right here,
John Jacobs.
Thank you so much, and a happy Wednesday to all of you. We're very excited for this week's topic. This week's topic, we are going to be talking about He-Man. We're going to be talking about Masters of the Universe Revelations, man. And it's really cool. We're seeing something from many people's childhood and second generation childhoods. For me, I watched this on Boomerang, which I know John's like, F you, I watched it on the first run. I know.
How many episodes of the original Masters of the Universe did you watch on Boomerang, Jesse?
I watched a bunch, dude. It was like one of those shows where like you look at your kid and you're watching it, you like it, but you don't know what's going on. And then when you grow up, you finally have to like thread the storyline. So yeah. It was just a long-term kind of thing. But I just wanted to mention the Boomerang thing just to kind of screw with you.
Hey, you know what? Here's my thing is, look, everybody knows you're like a decade and a half younger than me, so clearly you missed some stuff. But Jesse, I've got to applaud you. You caught up, man. And you, compared to other people, like in your age range that I know, you're way ahead of the curve because most of the time I talk about shit and nobody has any clue what I'm talking about. Like, try to bring up the cartoon Starcom to somebody who's 24 years old. They're going to look at you like you're fucking crazy. So
I'll admit I don't know that one.
God, watch it. It's one of the most smartest, best animated shows ever made, and that's why it didn't succeed. It was too smart for the young kids, and the toys were incredible, too. Look up Starcom, one of the best 80s cartoons ever. Quote me on it. I'm dead serious.
Well, there you have it. I'll check it out. But let's bring our guests out right now.
Oh, we have guests today?
Yes. So I'm not sure if you want to do the intro and I'll click them in.
All right. So first guest we're going to bring up is a fan favorite of the show. He's been on several episodes. The guy loves everything that we do. Give it up for our man, Ryan Hillsman. Woo! There he is, Ryan. And the Sword of Power, sir. Oh my God, it looks beautiful. Look at that thing.
Nice.
So, Ryan, before we bring out our next guest, I have just one question for you. How many times have you performed the He-Man transformation with that sword? Do not lie, because I know you've done it, because I would do it if I had it.
I would.
I can't even count on two fingers. I actually got my kid to do it.
Yeah,
better. Did you see that video? Because I think I posted it up on Facebook, and I had the theme song in the background for him.
Because I remember when you bought the sword, you even had it like sheathed in his back and everything. Like it was perfect, man.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I had him watching the show and everything. He loves it.
Great dad move right there, Ryan. You're doing parenting right, man. Because I tried with my daughter and she wanted nothing to do with it. So I tried. She liked the new She-Ra, but she didn't want nothing to do with Masters of the Universe. So I tried, but she was like, no, Dad, I'm out on this. All right, no problem. Go back to playing Roblox. It's cool. All right, so let's bring up our second guest. This is a guy that I have known for 20 years, actually longer than 20 years. He's a huge Masters of the Universe fan. He looks just like Uncle Jesse, and he's ripped as hell. Give it up for our man, Gabe Cortez. Bring that man out. There he is. Woo!
What's going on, guys?
How's everyone? Man?
I'm great.
Doing great. Hey, this is your first time on the show.
It is. I'm excited.
Gabe and I have been... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. My apologies.
I'm excited.
Gabe is a huge Masters of the Universe fan, like mega fan. He and I have been talking about different shows for him to get into. He's got a very busy schedule and a super busy life. So we're glad to have him on the show today. Thanks for being here, Gabe.
I'm glad to be here, bud.
Awesome. All right, let's introduce our last guest. Again, a guy that I've known for over 20 years. He, Gabe, and myself worked together back in the 90s at the old Toys R Us. Give it up for our guy, Sean Nagel. Bring him out.
Woo! Yeah.
There he is.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
How's it going?
You guys worked at Toys R Us, too?
We did. Yeah. All three of us together at the same time in the late 90s.
Yep.
I worked at Toys R Us in the early 2000s.
Up in Rhode Island or somewhere else?
Yeah, right in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Awesome, man. So look, we got
No, it
another
wasn't.
Toys R Us alumni. This is fantastic.
It really wasn't awesome.
Yeah. The people we work with were awesome.
You remember those old commercials for Toys R Us where they would show all the guys running around having fun playing with everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. That was false advertisement.
Oh, dude. I mean, we did that at our store.
I didn't have fun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the fun
all the
I
time.
did have, I got in trouble for.
Well,
Yeah.
Ryan, that's because you weren't having fun the right way. When the store closed, man, we would get the Nerf guns out, footballs out. We would get the headsets out and fuck with each other on the
Hey,
headset.
Ryan.
We used to have demo days.
Oh,
and
okay.
they got taken away because of me. One of them was the Nerf guns.
What did you shoot somebody in the eye? Like, what did you do?
No, I shot my unfavorite manager. I showed the kids how to really use the Nerf guns. And I knew where all the blind spots for the cameras were.
Nice, man.
So I knew where all the cameras were hiding.
Nice.
I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to show you how to really use these. So we're hiding right behind the end caps. I'm like, all right, first target. Pep, 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 pep. Go running away, go to the other side where nobody can see us.
Oh,
She came
my
up
God.
to me at the end of the day. She's like, I know that was you. I'm like, prove it. She couldn't,
Prove it.
and they took it all away.
Dude, he's the Lee Harvey Oswald of Toys R Us. I love this.
Oh, dude. The Lee Harvey Oswald Toys R Us.
I used to have
Go ahead. Go ahead.
so bad. It's so bad. It was so bad. One of my worst jobs.
Oh, man. You must just not have rocked at the wrong store. Because our store, even though it wasn't the greatest, it was the people that made it so good. Like, we all clicked together. We all like kind of had our group. We'd play flag football on every Sunday when it was nice weather out. We played some softball. Like, there were plenty of parties and gatherings.
I don't remember playing flag football.
Oh,
we played football on Thanksgiving one year.
You must not have come to that game. That's
I
the
wasn't
game
invited.
where that was the game where Brian DeWeese got knocked unconscious for like 5 minutes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think he hit somebody's knee in his head and he went unconscious.
My cousin.
Oh, it was Elvis.
Yeah.
So Sean does have a cousin named Elvis, which is fantastic. That's right. So Brian hits Elvis's knee, goes unconscious. He's literally laying there. We're like, we got to fucking call the squad. Like, no one knows what's going on. Brian just like wakes up like the Undertaker and just like sits up and he's like, looks right at Elvis. He's like, fuck you. And he like gets up off the field, walks off the field. Dude, it's fantastic. Anyways, we could do a whole episode about Toys R Us alumni, I mean, that actually might be really fun.
I'm for
But
it.
we are not here to talk about Toys R Us.
No, we're not.
What are we here to talk about, Jesse?
We're here to talk about Masters of the Universe, in particular, Revelations, the new storyline that has been released on Netflix. It just began with part 1, which it is a total of what, 5 to 6 episodes, if I recall?
5 episodes.
5 episodes, yeah. So everybody got really quiet when I messed up the number there. You guys. Sorry, all right.
I wanted to be kind of nonchalant about it and just maybe go like,
right, like, no, it's 5.
I said 5 to 6. I didn't say it confidently. Anyways, I have nothing to prove to you guys. Anyways, well, all right. And so the show, one of the things about that's it's been talked about all over online since its release. There's been a lot of great things said about it. There's a lot of controversy have been talked about. So today we're going to kind of delve into this 5-episode run and talk about it, bring up stuff from the past shows and series as well, and talk about our childhood about it. So why don't we get right down into it? Let's get right. Why do we like Masters of the Universe? What is the appeal? What is the thing that captured you the moment you discovered it?
Gabe, why don't you start us out? I feel like you're the biggest fan of all on this show, so you start us out.
Yeah, it was pretty much the science and sorcery aspect of it. I love just the mix of everything. You had the laser weapons, you had swords, you had vehicles, you had people riding giant cats, and it was just, as a kid, to me, that was just like everything. I loved it. Yeah.
I like that.
It's technically my Star Wars. It's like I like it more than Star Wars. Everybody else was playing with Star Wars toys. I had my He-Man.
Okay. And I like where you're coming from on that, because you're right. It is a mix of a little bit of everything. It's not just one theme. It's all the themes rolled into one. Sean, what about you?
So He-Man for me was my intro to fantasy, which I fell in love with Dungeons and Dragons, all that stuff after He-Man.
Okay.
Like that's where I found it. And you know how as a kid you always have that one show or toy or whatever that you identify with, like you're that I was the He-Man kid. Like
Gotcha.
Everything. The big wheel I had, I would get the toys. It was just my grandparents would give me pajamas. I had everything. I was the He-Man kid growing up.
Did you have the bed sheets? I had the bed sheets.
I think I did. Like they made me, budget cakes and stuff like that for my birthday. I had the toy set that was like the chess piece, the sword, and the shield. At one point.
Wow.
The only thing that came even close as far as a cartoon series for me, like I didn't play G.I. Joe. I didn't have any of that stuff. Was Thundercats. And that was still paled in comparison to He-Man.
Okay. Ryan, what about you?
It was swords, man. I love swords. I love anything medieval, barbarian stuff like that. And then when He-Man would when Prince Adam would take the sword, raise it above his head, and you'd hear that iconic sound,
Oh, yeah.
And then you just see him transform it. It was great. It was great. He had a sword that can literally do almost anything. Mm-hmm. What's not to love about it? You just had the villain who was like pretty much the comic relief throughout the whole friggin' show.
Dr. Evil?
Pretty much.
But he also looked metal with just a glowing yellow skull.
He was a jacked dork. That's the best way.
Yeah,
that's the best way to bring up Skeletor. He's just a jacked dork.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Jesse, before I give my answer, what about you and what you watched on Boomerang?
Oh, I knew I was going to get content for my lord. You know what? I liked it because it had. I liked that classic animation. I just that animation for me, because when I was a kid, I was very weird as a kid. Like I was actually interested in animators. Like I was probably the only 10-year-old that was like, if Chuck Jones drew this, I'm fucking watching it.
Nice, man.
It was weird. So yeah, that's what turned me on to watching it. But what I do like is that it had the fantasy and the world had everything for everybody. Like I said, sci-fi. It had magic. It had adventures. It had creatures. It had everything. And that's what I loved so much about it. There was so much different things. It wasn't just one thing. It was because if you watch fantasy, it's either, hey, this is a show that's only about magic, or this is a show that's only about technology and sci-fi and cyberpunk and all that stuff. But I like that this show could be about everything. And and just because they live in simpler times, like they're still wearing some of the robes and some of the stuff. Like some people are wearing stuff, but then they have some people have the futuristic tech. I like that whole mixed bag of fun. Because it means you can do so much with these characters. And I feel that's why the show has lasted so long. It's why the toys are so amazing, why the TV show keeps getting another series or spinoff or whatever, because there's just a wealth of information. And I think, Gabriel, you put it best. This was kind of like a Star Wars to you. And I think just like a Star Wars, there's so much you can do. They built the world. If not, I would say they built their world better than Star Wars. I will say that.
I don't know if I'm ready to admit to that, but
they've hinted at their world better than Star Wars. But the problem is like with the movie, that movie.
Let's not go there, man.
I was a huge fan. They literally left the world.
Movie, then yes,
they left the world.
I'm incorrect.
All right. Well, listen. We'll talk about the movie. In fact, we can talk about the movie here in 1 second. Let's just get that out of the way as to why we love it. We'll do that now. Real quick, for me, it's actually a mix of what everybody said. It's the blending of themes. It's the fantasy. it's the role playing, it's the sword play, it's the transformation. For me, it was really about the transformation. I love Superman, always have, always will. And when I was a kid, whenever I'd watch Superman 3 and he would rip his shirt and turn into Superman, it was the coolest thing ever. So then when He-Man holds up his sword and he transforms, that was the coolest thing ever. When a Japanese friend of mine got me into Super Sentai before it came over to America as Power Rangers, I loved that because they had devices where they would transform and turn it. It's this whole notion of normal kid transforming into the badass hero in The Secret Identity. And for like 5-year-old John back in the 80s, that was the coolest fucking thing that could ever happen. So that was really what drew me into that. I loved it, like G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Transformers, all that, but none of it had that transformation theme. Transformers isn't the same. That's not the same thing. So for me, I always gravitated towards He-Man as a kid for that very reason. So I'd say that would be mine. But moving right along here. So let's talk about that Canon film that was released in, what was it, 88, 89? I forget which year, but it's right down there.
I don't remember. It could be 87.
One of those.
Yeah. So, Canon Film strikes up a deal with Hasbro. They're like, we'll go halvesies, you go halvesies. Everybody's happy. They write this really cool script. They build these beautiful sets. They find these awesome locations that look like Eternia. And then it doesn't happen because Canon Films love to siphon money from one movie to the next. And they ran out of money for Masters of the Universe. They asked Hasbro for more. They were like, no. The movie got shut down. That's why the final scene is in the dark, because they had to film it with no money, and they had 2 hours to film that scene. So, yeah, it was a disaster. But at the end of the day, I still love it because I was still a kid when it came out, and I realized it wasn't like the show. But again, it mystified me, and it put Skeletor in a more competent exposition than bumbling Dr. Evil. Like, Skeletor was menacing. He had a good plan. He didn't fucking take shit from anybody. When the fucking lizard guy that was never a real character did something to define him, he just fucking killed him and was
Sarad.
Sarad. Yeah.
Skeletor was the highlight of that
call
movie.
him the fucking
Absolutely.
lizard guy.
I mean, think about who played
Langella,
Skeletor?
Frank
Langella. Yeah.
Yeah, Frank
He's
Langella,
amazing.
man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, Dolph Lundgren did a great job. Now, there were some complaints about him because of his accent and delivering the lines, and they were going to fire him. And he was like, no. I have it in this contract that I'm allowed to try every line 4 different times until I get it right. So you can't fire me. So he stayed on as He-Man because of that technicality in that contract. But, I mean, the dude was jacked. He had his blonde mullet. And he just went, huh, every time he swung his sword. So, that was good enough for me when I was a little kid.
Hey, he did do a good job with the "I have the power."
Yeah,
it was
fantastic.
close. It was probably the closest to anything that's out now.
Yeah. And I really liked the cape with the shoulder pads. That was dope. The costuming was really good in that movie, I thought, at least.
It was missing
fantastic.
One of its most important characters, right?
Which one?
Eternia is a character. They go to New York City. It's
they had
that.
to save
as
money.
a kid, I hated it for that
I know.
very reason. I didn't care why. I
know.
didn't want it. I was done.
Look, John, I get it, and I agree with you. But the answer is we ran out of money, and it's cheaper to shoot on a soundstage than it is on a location. So,
I know why.
That's why they traveled to
it.
Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I was a kid too.
Hey, fuck you! No,
Yeah,
fuck
right?
you! just yells at Skeletor. Fuck you!
I feel like that was done a lot in 80s movies, though, right? They went to New York City, and then you had the guy with Ninja Turtles. It made sense, but there were movies like Beastmaster and that kind of stuff where it was let's bring them to modern New York City for no reason because it's easier to shoot and cheaper.
It is, and the whole fish out of water is a story to write too. So, we all would have preferred the movie that they wanted to make, but again, in Canon Film fashion, we didn't get that movie, but we still got something that I feel is near and dear to a lot of people's heart. And look, I don't care what anybody says, that opening theme fucking slaps. When he's like,
it's amazing.
Supreme, the power to be master of the universe. And
I don't even remember it.
That theme.
Grayskull looked amazing.
Yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Skull. Oh,
Yeah.
that
So
map
good.
painting was beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
The skull almost looked like the skull head from the Voltron tanks. I'm sorry, Beast King Go Lion tanks. So I associated that with that. Yeah, Voltron's terrible. It's all about Beast King Go Lion. Anyways, that's a whole nother episode. So any other comments on the movie? I want to make sure we air out all of our grievances because I know people hated it, and that's okay.
I remember so little of it. It just like even as a kid when I didn't have the right to have any sort of like real opinion on film, right? I couldn't stand it. I could not get
Okay.
into it.
That's all right.
I think it just
See, man,
it
I
was like
that
Spawn.
kid that
It's
was
like
happy
Spawn.
to have one.
Spawn bothered me so much, even though I was a huge fan, that I
Yeah.
just don't even watch it anymore. Like I don't care. There were bright spots. There were good parts of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I saw Spawn in the theater, was extremely disappointed. But hey, new one's coming.
Yep. Eventually.
Gabe, what were your final thoughts on that?
No, I was just happy to have a He-Man movie, man. When I was a kid,
Yeah.
you kidding me? I was pumped. Like,
Yeah,
I love
I'm there.
He in the end. The costumes were great. I was excited for that. And then,
yeah.
and my kids recently, we watched it about 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
They were okay. They were like,
Yeah.
"Where's Battle Cat? Why is he Blinn?
Where's
You know,
Orko?
like-
Right, where's
yeah,
Orko?
Yeah.
Who is
Oh,
this
wait.
furry guy?
Oh wait, he's an Ewok reject with ears. That's
Yeah,
where
they
Orko
liked Skeletor and He-Man, but that's about it. Skeletor and
Skeletor
He-Man,
was
that's
awesome.
about it.
Yeah,
And I like
and
Man at Arms too, personally, but that's
yeah, Man at Arms. I forget the name of the
Man at
actor.
Arms was great.
But
I
yeah,
thought he
and the
was good.
costume was amazing. I like that how everything was just more like
John Pfeiffer.
militarized,
Mhm.
grayscale. I really like that, and I love the Eternia shots, especially when Skeletor takes over the castle. He imprisons the sorceress, and then he broadcasts his message across Eternia, and they
Yeah.
just have these giant holographic plates on the ground that are probably the size of like a neighborhood, and just like projects its image up. Like, that's fucking badass. I want to see more of that, Like, I want to see that shit, right? But no, we went to some town in California. Ryan, any final thoughts before we move on into Revelations? No? Nothing to say, huh?
We pretty much hit it all on the head.
So, did you like or not like it?
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I loved it. I loved it.
Okay.
Still one of my favorites. I don't care what anybody says. I loved it.
What was up with so we had Sarad, we had the other like long white-haired kind of lizard guy. What the hell was his name? Kang. And then we had Blade.
Blade.
The most like generic like character ever. He had like a hook on his hand. He was a sword fighter and like had an eye patch, and he was bald.
He was the actual sword instructor, though, for him. He was the sword
Oh, was
instructor
he?
for Dolph Lundgren, yeah. And they
Okay,
just gave
so
him the
that's
role. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you take the guy who's training the actors and then you put him in the role. That's actually kind of like Ray Park playing Darth Maul. So that's pretty cool.
Wasn't Courtney Cox in that?
She was. That was after she came off of the Springsteen video, so she was huge. She was in that, and then fucking Tom Paris from Star Trek Voyager was in that shit.
Actually,
man.
you know what? Blade was actually in Voyager too. He was one of the bad aliens in the first season.
Oh, I hate Voyager, but I'm gonna go back and watch it now just for that. I gotta see it now.
He's one of the Kazons from the first season.
Okay. Gotcha.
I didn't believe it until I looked it up one day because I was like, I rewatched Masters of the Universe, and I'm like, this dude's voice just sounds way too familiar. So I looked it up, and I'm like, no,
No way. That's awesome. I wish that Tom Paris had more to do in the He-Man movie because, he's the only guy that broke Warp 10 in the Star Trek world. But yeah, they
turned
gave
into
him
a salamander for all the trouble.
And then they do nothing with him in Masters of the Universe. He's just kind of there on the side to keep Courtney.
I liked his character in that movie.
Yeah, he was a little more reasonable. Like, he didn't fall for the bullshit, and he was all about his music and just kind of an easygoing guy. I'm sure he was smoking doobs on the side, which is totally cool. So, all right, guys. So let's jump right into this. Jesse, hit us with our next topic that we're going to be discussing. Here we go. So, thoughts and expectations. So we're going to let you guys talk about this. You guys are the guests. You're here to talk about it. You all three have opinions that are the same, and you all three have some differing opinions as well. So let's not kill each other. Let's be respectful to each other, but let's talk about it. So, Sean, I'm going to open it up to you to start. Before you sat down and watched this, what were your thoughts and expectations going in?
Hopes or expectations? I guess my expectations. I wanted them to flesh out the world more than the show ever did. Right? Like you would get bits and pieces of stuff in the original show and the original cartoon, but I wanted more. I wanted to know more about the rest of the world.
Yeah. Gabe, what do you got? Sean's in deep thought. We'll come back.
Yeah. I had two things, man. Maybe it was just me, but as a kid, I always wanted to know if He-Man and Teela are ever gonna get married. That was like my main thing, man. As like a kid,
They fucking are one.
He-Man or
my
Adam?
main thing. No, He-Man and Teela.
Oh,
That would make things very difficult.
Yeah, hold on. So wouldn't that be like a Superman Lois situation where he just end up shooting it out of her back and kill her?
But
like,
in the 80s cartoon, Adam looked the same.
Powerful.
Yeah.
They looked exactly the same.
Right,
So
they were the same build.
Now he's just a little thinner, but that was pretty much. That's like I really wanted to see where they're going to take that relationship, and I still have to see part 2, but that was extremely like I don't know. That was my focal point, which I didn't get, but that was
not yet, at least, right?
Not yet, yeah.
Ryan, what were your thoughts and expectations going? I know you were very critical from the beginning, so
well, my hopes and expectations were that the animation wasn't gonna suck. I didn't want to see like the typical animation that's really out there, like the She-Ra, the new She-Ra cartoon.
Oh, you didn't like that, huh?
I don't like that. I like the original She-Ra. I did.
Oh, me too.
I watched it just like with He-Man.
Yeah. Yep.
It was great, but I don't like this new style of animation that just seems to be friggin' everywhere. The Steven Universe animation. I hate it.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it. So I was hoping that the animation would be good. I was hoping for, what's going to happen with Adam and Teela, or, Adam, He-Man, and Teela. Because they were supposed to get married. They're supposed to have kids. Apparently she was supposed to become the sorceress, and I think I read somewhere that she's the sorceress's daughter in the storylines.
I think that's what they're hinting at in the show too.
It's always been that.
Yeah. So she was supposed to be the sorceress. Her and Adam and He-Man get married, have kids and all that other stuff. So I was hoping they would kind of go further into that. And I was really hoping that Skeletor wouldn't turn out to be the Joker after finding out Mark Hamill was playing him.
Sure. Which we talked in great length about last week.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
So I think that's actually a good point. And really with me, thoughts and expectations, I share the same as everybody else. I wanted to see more building on the universe because let's be honest, guys, the original show, as much as we love it, it's not that great. The dialogue is terrible. It treats kids like they're idiots. It's just a 30-minute PSA to sell toys.
Most stuff treated kids like idiots back then.
It did. It absolutely did. And
it was your typical 80s cheddar cheese type cartoon.
Yep. And that kind of bothers me because I see a lot of people who are like, oh, the original is so good, with all these shows, Thundercats, Transformers, Voltron, and I'm like, have you actually gone back as an adult, sat down, and watched this with an adult lens, got through 5 episodes, was like, damn, this show is the fucking bomb? No, nobody has, because it's not true. So my thoughts and expectations were that. That's okay.
I recently
hard
watched
to do
them
without
with
the
my
nostalgia
kids, man.
attached,
I thought they were great.
Critically, like without nostalgia attached, it is difficult to sit down and try and parse that out.
The dialogue
right?
is one of the toughest things to get through between He-Man and Thundercats.
Yeah.
They have the same type of dialogue.
Thundercats.
The cues were way off on dialogue for a lot of the episodes. That's why I love the real Ghostbusters, because the dialogue was just on point for everything.
Oh, there it is. He had to get his little plug in for real Ghostbusters. Hold on a second. My throat's a little raw today. So
Hang
you
on
know,
one sec.
yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
Ryan. I understand. So you know, with that, I wanted to see relationships and dialogue that made a little bit more sense, not only to me as an adult, but just made it a little more cohesive to where I understood what people were doing and why. So those were some things that I was looking forward to. You know, I wasn't really that concerned about Mark Hamill's voice as Skeletor until I heard it in the show, which while I agree he did a good job, I also do agree with Ryan.
Yeah.
It was a bit distracting, but I will say I watched through it a second time and it didn't bother me as much as it did the first time. So,
I mean,
Yeah,
it's the same voice he used for Joker and Hobgoblin.
There is nuance to it, though. I watched it again today too.
There's a lot.
That's not fair.
But it is close. I agree. There's times where he even calls Evelyn, like he says it like he does for Harley.
Yeah.
Yes,
So there are
yes,
different
that was
instances.
that
I love
bugged me
I-
so much.
It didn't bother me at all.
When it hit me the hardest with
Mhm.
Joker was when he was I believe it was the beginning of the third episode with Merman, because Merman was played by Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
So like it was kind of weird. Like I'm like Joker and Batman are in this episode.
yeah.
They're working together.
Gabe, what did you think about Hamill specifically as Skeletor?
I got to be honest, man. He's always kind of sounds the same in every animation thing I think he does.
Yeah.
Have you seen
I
the
was
regular show?
I was expecting the same. I liked him. I thought he was good. I just wasn't. I don't think I thought he was good for what it was. I wasn't.
He's got a lot more
agree with that,
range.
yeah.
He's got a lot more range than people.
Does he?
Because people only, oh yeah, dude.
Because I
check
haven't
out.
seen Batman in forever, so I was kind of
No, not even Batman. There's something
Completely.
called Regular Show. There's a character that he plays. I had no clue it was Mark
And I
Hamill
never heard of
until like you never heard of Regular Show. It was on Cartoon
No.
Network. He plays this gorilla. You wouldn't even know unless I told you that he
Okay.
was. There's a ton of stuff he does that people don't
Okay.
know. People know Joker. People know Hobgoblin and stuff like that.
Wait,
but
he was the gorilla in that show?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's
white
got
ball
way
off
more
on Ryan's
range
head.
as a
He's like,
voice
wait,
actor.
what?
I had no idea
What's
that
his
was
name?
him. I have
What's
no idea.
the-
My son watches the show every once in a while, and like
Yeah.
I had no inkling to want to watch it. I've seen a couple of the episodes he watches, and I had no friggin' clue. That is the only cartoon show that I've seen with Mark Hamill in it, and I had no friggin' clue.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
That's
I
crazy.
didn't know.
It's good.
until-
I expected to get
Here's
Joker.
another one. Have you guys ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Is he the uncle?
No, he's the father. I guess the
Fire
brother.
Lord?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know that. I love that show.
yeah.
Oh.
So that's
Well, look-
it's kind of one of his like. When I found that out, I was like, "What?" Like
Yeah.
I didn't believe it at first, and I was like, "Oh shit, it really is him."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he has Fire Lord Ozai. That's his name. I was trying to remember it. Yeah, he has. The thing is, he has a lot of range. It's just sometimes when he plays the kooky
Yeah.
like villain, it
Yep.
always goes in that Joker hop.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get that.
I
Because
agree.
That's,
I agree.
That's because that's where he gets it. Like that's
Right.
what's inside of him. So I do get that. But I think we all need to agree right now. His best non-Luke role was in the Guyver. Let's just throw that out there right now, and all
Definitely,
agree on that.
100%.
Especially on the cover.
Wait, what about
when,
Cockknocker?
when they make you think he's the Guyver and then he's not the Guyver at all, which is great. And then Cockknocker. I mean, everybody loves Cockknocker. I love how Kevin Smith edited that, where it's like, "Hey kids, it's Mark Hamill." Like that was so great. Oh god,
Oh, perfect.
Awful.
we need to do a View Askew show too, and just go through that whole universe.
I
But
would love that.
yeah, let's bring it back. So Jesse, let's go ahead and transition to our next topic. Now that we know how we all felt going into this, let's start talking about what the fuck is going on. So I'll start us off, and then I want you guys to go. I'm tired of talking. So when we start Revelations, we start X amount of time after whatever the last Masters of the Universe episode was. And really what I liked about Revelation was it's it's the first episode is an end to that original 40-year cartoon storyline. And I do like getting a closure to it. We get some more mythos on Grayskull and what it really is. And I thought that was very cool. And once that ends, now we transition into the new storyline. And this is where there's a lot of points of contention, because in the first episode, we kill off our two leads. We kill off Skeletor, we kill off He-Man. And now we move into this, what the fuck does this world look like without He-Man and Skeletor? And while I know a lot of people bitch about that, which it's a rightful opinion to hold, because yeah, you took the character the show's made for and you killed him. I get how crazy that is. So I'm not discarding that opinion, but I thought it was great, because what better way to build more on a universe than to eliminate distractions?
Right.
And the
That's the
distraction
focus.
is He-Man and Skeletor, because that's what everybody's focusing on.
Agreed.
So eliminate them, build your universe. Gabe, what do you think about that?
Yeah, pretty much. I never thought they were dead in my mind ever, so it never bothered me. And
Sure.
I mean, I was like, I mean, who thinks that? Like, come on, like
They're not
gonna
dead.
come back. Yeah, like,
Remember, they make toys. They make toys.
Yeah, right.
They ain't gonna kill them off.
they made toys.
Unless
I
you're in the
thought the first
Transformers
episode
franchise.
was amazing. The score, the intro, and then it exactly like you said, John. It pretty much ended that toy line, kind of like that old '80s show, and then we got dark and metal, and I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I agree. It was really cool how they almost made me feel like, oh, is this just going to be campy and Saturday morning cartoony the whole way through? And then
Well, I didn't want.
towards the end, all of a sudden you see Moss Man on fire, and you're like,
Oh, that
Like,
hurt. That hurt. I was like, wait a minute, you
Also-
killed Moss Man. Like, I cared about him getting killed more than I cared about He-Man dying. I was
Right.
like, you can't kill Moss Man. Like,
he's like screaming in pain too.
I feel like Moss Man was more Swamp Thing in this than Moss
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I
It did
agree.
disappoint me, and I will
Smells
say,
like pine.
I was prepared to buy the $20 toy until I found out there's no flock on it for the Moss, like the original toy. I'm out, because Moss Man was one of my favorite original toys because of that. Oh,
What are they going to do next? Make
which
Skunkor
one
not
you got there,
stink?
Gabe? I can't see.
Moss Man.
Oh, cool. So Gabe got
Nice.
it. So look,
Yeah.
the sculpt is beautiful. It is
Yeah.
a beautiful figure, and I love how they Swamp Thinged him out. But I feel like they did miss the opportunity without having the flock on it to make it all mossy. So
That's going to be the $40 Target exclusive.
yeah, or the Comic-Con exclusive. You have to wait in line all
Yes.
day for
Yeah.
it to get, and then it'll be $500 on eBay in like 2
Yeah.
hours.
So
Even
is
though it only
Stinkor
cost you $20. I had Stinkor. I love.
is the new one going to smell though? Is he
I
going to
don't
smell?
know.
I
Are-
100%
do you do it?
guarantee he's probably going to smell. I'd be
He's
shocked
got
if
to,
he
right?
doesn't smell.
Yeah.
He's going to smell.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So-
people would, yeah.
So Ryan, what did you think in terms of storyline and kind of just remember just what we saw with episodes 1 through 5, part 1, where they're going? How did you think about that?
Well, I had a hard time watching because it didn't really feel like the original show.
Okay.
And when I started to look into more of like what Kevin Smith was using when he was doing this, because Kevin Smith is not a fan of He-Man. He outright said he wasn't a fan of He-Man, and he just made the show. I like how it was dark. He took aspects from the comics, like the original books that came with the figures
Yes.
back in the 80s before the show came out. But like the whole purpose of the show was it was supposed to take place after the show. It was a continuation of the show, not the comics.
Mhm.
I like that he put it in there. It's just, I don't know. There was just a lot of bamboozling when it came to what Kevin Smith said what was going to happen and what I saw when I watched the actual show.
Gotcha.
I'm not saying I hated the show. I liked aspects of it, but I just didn't like how there was a lot of things that were said and a lot of things that weren't even shown.
Okay.
I wanted it to be like a actual continuation, not something from the comics, which I didn't read. I didn't read the comics. I don't know anything about the damn comics. I know some storylines that have to do with He-Man itself, but I
Sure.
don't know anything about the comics, so a lot of this stuff I don't know.
Okay.
So
It's
it was disappointing in that.
Okay. It's going to be interesting to hear where you think part 2 is going to go, because I think that's going to be most important, especially from where you're coming from. Whereas this is just it's unknown to you. There's not familiarity there. And so when we get to where we talk about where we think it's going to go, I really want to hear your thoughts on where that's going to go, because I think that's a unique perspective that not a lot of people share. Let me correct myself. That the people both in like my life and then digital people I interact with, not many people have shared that sentiment. So I want to hear when we get to that point in the show where you think it's going to go, because I think that perspective is very interesting, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of it. Jesse, before we move on, anything from you in terms of how you felt about the storyline?
I liked it. For me, I really enjoyed this because because one of the things that in poetry that was once said is kill your darlings. Kill something that you love. Or pit yourself in a corner to create something incredible. So in this case, I kind of felt like they did that. They killed off, which I agree with someone's comment earlier. Are they really dead? Yeah, like I was like, I know they're not dead, but
yeah, right.
we're dead. All right, whatever. But this was a chance, I think, for the ensemble cast to shine. And I don't want to go too much into that because I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But I really liked that. Like Orko, I loved Orko's storyline.
Mm-hmm.
My God,
I did. I loved it. I thought it was a great episode.
When he says, like, well, I mispronounced Oracle, and they call me Orko, and then because I messed things up, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking cry on this team. I'm going to cry right now. This is how I feel. I was literally, I think I had a tear going down my eye, and I looked over my wife, and looked over fucking Orko. I was like, but like, in years, I never thought I'd relate to that character ever in my life. And it was, and then seeing Evelyn like kind of like put her like her helmet down on his head.
You see her hair.
It was a powerful moment, but it was earned. It was earned.
Yes,
it was like it really felt like she would do that, even though in a million years you'd have never thought that would ever occur.
Yeah. Not in the original series. Like I would never think that Evelyn would ever do anything like that.
Yeah.
But this one they made it believable.
I agree.
They made the characters very conflicting, and I think conflict is what drives a story forward. Because like at one point I didn't think Evelyn was gonna at the end, not to spoil, go with the return of a character.
Oh, this is a spoiler discussion, Jesse.
Okay. Go back to Skeletor.
Right.
I thought there was a moment like, wait, is Evelyn going to be Goodlin? I don't know.
They almost talked about it like it was an abusive relationship she was in too.
Did you see? He sat back. He's like, "That's a terrible name."
Yeah, but my point is just, I like that they took time to do that, because a lot of times with shows like this, there's moments where the background characters provide a great amount of depth and interest to the fans, and we want to know more. And I think by doing that and giving the fans that, it makes us not only appreciate the show, but the world. It allows us to be and the people who support the main character. So,
Jesse, that's our next topic, right? Characters, the whole thing with the characters. So let's transition into that, because we kind of started talking about that.
Yeah,
that goes right in line with the story. So as we progress through the story, the characters are left wandering. They're like Ronins wandering. They don't know. I don't know. Oh, He-Man's dead. Who am I affiliated? Well, Skeletor's dead. What the fuck do I do? Like, they were all just kind of turned upside down. And the coolest part of all with this was that you get attention and character depth in some of these secondary and tertiary characters that were just background in the original show. Like, let's just talk about how fucking Roboto shows up and actually does shit. Like, that was amazing. Or fucking Triclops starting a cult. Hey, what happens when Skeletor dies? I think I'm going to rally some people and start a fucking cult. Like, it was just taking these characters and giving them something to do that was just different than standing on the bridge as Tasha Yar waiting for Picard to say something for her to do something.
Being henchmen, right? Like,
yeah, they actually got out
Yeah.
and fucking did something. And to me, that was the win. If everything else was terrible, the win for me was rebranding and reusing these characters into something new and giving them more to do. And you can only do that if you eliminate He-Man and Skeletor that are the distraction.
Yeah.
So
It makes the world feel like it is a living, breathing world too, right? Because these people continue to go on and do other things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ryan, what's your thoughts on all this with the characters?
I do agree with what you said. I mean, we wouldn't have seen a lot of the stuff that went on with these characters if He-Man and Skeletor were still around. The show would be centered around them. Everybody else, obviously, secondary. But, I mean, the one thing I liked about the original show was they kind of did focus on all the extras. They always had something going on with everybody. That's why I think the show always appealed to everybody. Every character got something done in every episode.
Who was your favorite
But the way that they rebranded
character?
these, my favorite non.
Sorry, Ryan. I think there's a delay, so I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh no, it's. I've noticed a delay on my end. I don't know if it's my computer or not being a dick. I don't know.
No problem. Don't worry about it.
Internet.
Yeah. But anyways, your favorite secondary / tertiary character?
I don't know. I liked so many of them. I'm trying. I'm like literally trying to go through all the friggin' names of everybody.
Fisto, man. Just say Fisto.
You know what?
What was the tornado
All right,
guy?
I'll go with Fisto. Fuck it.
Cyclone.
What was
Cyclone,
his name?
yeah.
Skyclone.
Skyclone.
Thank
I
you.
had his
The guy
toy.
that
I
spun
love
around.
that toy. Yeah, I love
Him
that.
and the was it Greyhawk? was his
Stratos.
Stratos. I'm thinking Greyhawk
Stratos.
and D&D. My bad.
Yeah,
Stratos.
But yeah, Stratos was cool. The Bumblebee one
Buzz-off.
was a
Like the
very
Buzz-off.
weird one, but I
Buzz-off,
remember
yeah.
having that toy and loving it.
There was a whole species of those humanoid
Yes.
bees, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Stratus's people. So, Gabe, what did you think about kind of this rebranding, reshuffling, focus on different characters aspect?
I loved it, man. I am in love with Evil Lynn's character. I thought Lena Headey did an amazing job. I was so it was fantastic. I think Man at Arms was just great. Probably between Man at Arms and Evil Lynn, they just stole the show for me.
Mhm.
I thought they were fantastic, and I pretty much loved even Orko, which I was not a fan of. I never liked Orko. And,
Yeah,
the toy,
right?
With the
But
pull
I
string and he
liked Orko.
zoomed around. Yeah. So I definitely agree with you there too. And especially with Orko, I actually cared about Orko, and when he died, I was absolutely heartbroken. I know, I was like, oh my God,
Mhm.
they took
I
this
was like,
character.
no.
Right. They took this character nobody cared about, made him absolutely dope, and then killed him. It was like straight out of Oz, man. That was an Oz move right there.
the annoying sidekick.
Another thing they did was Roboto. It wasn't
Dude,
enough
my
for-
man Roboto, man.
It wasn't enough for him to die, but for him to be like, you must
I
tell
feel-
Matt that he did a really good job because I could feel fear. I've
You're
never
just
felt
like,
fear.
"Oh."
And I'm like, Jesus.
Right.
Hey, Kevin Smith can do good with tear jerkers every once in a while.
Absolutely. Especially in a He-Man show, right? That's the whole thing is we're talking about He-Man. I didn't cry when I was 4 years old at an episode of Master of the Universe, but 40-year-old John watching, I'm like, oh my God, this is deep, man.
Mhm. Yeah. The characters just feel more real.
Yeah.
Right? They have wants, desires, they have conflict, like you said. It's I don't know. I think they did a fantastic job with all of the characters.
My one issue would definitely be what we talked about, Tila. I did not like what they did with Tila.
So Ryan has a very specific talking point on this, which I think we'll all end up agreeing with. At least Ryan and I did when we talked earlier. So Ryan, real briefly, kind of explain your talking point, because I actually don't see that being brought up in discussions that much. So I think it's important to talk about it. Why don't you go ahead?
So in the original series, Tila was this kick-ass warrior, very loyal, lovable character. And I feel like in this show, they really made her out to be like an unlikable bitch. Like, all right, Adam, Prince Adam's parents find out his mother knew, but his father finds out he's He-Man. He-Man's dead now. He's distraught, trying to deal with it. He-Man's mother, she's trying to deal with it. He-Man's father gets Ragnar. I forget his fucking name.
Randor.
Randor. He banishes Man-at-Arms because he found out that Man-at-Arms knew and didn't say anything to anybody. And then there's Tila just standing there like, what the fuck? You know what? I'm going to make this about me. You all lied to me about this shit, and now I'm going to leave here, fuck everybody, and I'm going to go brood somewhere and fucking deal with this bullshit my own way. That's not how Tila would have acted in the original. I mean, she's like a soldier. When do soldiers ever get told the truth all the fucking time? When are they ever told all the secrets? Barely ever.
Right. So, go ahead.
I don't feel that her character was done justice in this show. I think they turned a lovable character into an insufferable, self-absorbed, unlikable bitch.
I think that's her journey, though, because by the end of the show, you see her doing more for others and thinking about others first. I think that's the whole point. Is that it's that Joseph Campbell circle, right? The hero leaves, they're forced out, they come back around, return to the place they left from, changed, and that's what she's doing. She's literally going on the hero's journey.
See, I can see where you're coming from with that, but it's just my view of her as the original cat from the original show.
Yeah,
I don't think she would have ever made this whole devastating thing. Prince Adam's dead. All this. I'd never thought in a million years that the original Tila would have made that about her.
Ryan, what do you want to see happen with Tila in part 2 to get a redemption for you for her character? Like what could happen with her? And if you want to transition, Jesse, because we're kind of running low on time, to our last segment, which is going to be talking about where we want to see this go from here. What do we think part 2 is going to have in store for us? So Ryan, what could happen in part 2 that would redeem Tila? And real quick, Jesse, I want you to throw Rob Ryder's comment up on the screen because he's asking about his favorite character, Ram Man. Where the hell was Ram Man at?
Part 2, Rob. Part 2.
Nobody likes
Rob.
Ram Man.
The toy was pretty wet. I got to be honest. I didn't like the toy. It was like that 2-piece crap.
Yeah, and it like never bounced properly. Yeah. It just kind of like went up. It never actually jumped off the table like it was supposed to. But okay, so Ryan, what could they do for you to kind of redeem Tila in part 2? How would you like to see that done?
I honestly, I would like for her to not be like she was throughout that whole thing. Like she was just like miserable, bitchy, moody. Like she was as bad as Aaron Lewis is in all of his fucking albums.
Okay.
Hold on.
Just whiny, complaining about the same fucking thing. Okay, you got lied to. Get over it.
Okay. So if she,
I love that first album though.
If there is a catalyst,
their underground in their first couple albums were fucking phenomenal. Everything after that, I got tired of listening to him losing that same fucking bitch.
So if Jesse's lost it, you got him, Ryan. You got him. Look, he's losing it. You got him. Great job.
Yes, I have the power, man.
There it is, man. So we
Dude,
always
just
have
the
this. We always
contempt-
have this.
The
We always
contempt
have
you
this.
have for it is just the best part.
Yeah. No, we always have this little competition in every show to try to either get myself or Jesse to break on camera, and it hasn't happened in a while. So
God.
Ryan, congratulations on getting Jesse. You got him, man.
Oh,
You
God.
got him. Oh, here's Rob redeeming himself with Ram Man. Getting worked over. I love it. Oh man, Rob is another one of our friends. He's not a Toys R Us guy, but he loves He-Man just like we do. And Rob ended up liking the show. He was worried that he wasn't going to, and he ended up watching with his son and really, really liked it. So Ryan, I get where you're coming from. I get what Sean's talking about with the hero's journey. And I'm just kind of hoping we'll meet in the middle with part 2. I think Tila's going to understand that her actions were more knee-jerk and they were more selfish. And she has to have some experiences to learn that so that she can come back and be a better leader than when she left, because you often have to fail in order to get better. I've done that in my career before. So it's about how you handle your failure and how you turn that into a gain. So I feel confident that by the end of part 2, we'll have that Tila warrior, confident, polished type person back. And maybe that doesn't happen, but I feel like it's going to. So I feel like they'll give it to you, man.
I'm giving the second half a chance, and if they can't pull it off, man, I'm done with this whole series. I'll wait for the next one.
Well, look, the next one coming out is actually going to be more like the original one, and it's going to have Team Fortress style animation. So maybe that one ends up clicking for you a little bit.
And it's aimed at kids, which obviously the original was as well.
Yeah. So maybe that one ends up being great. I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm still going to watch it and give it a chance, but Gabe, so what would you really love to see out of part 2? Because I know you love part 1. I know you love what they did with all the characters. You're way into it. What do you want to see happen in part 2 to kind of wrap up this arc here?
To wrap everything up, man, there's so many things they need to do. I just wish the show was longer, to be honest. This is not enough. But honestly, like what you guys already touched on, I think Tila, for the most part, she was a little hard, and I'd like to see that softened up a little bit. And I think Orko is going to be back. I think He-Man is definitely probably not dead, of course.
Oh, of course.
And I want to see an actual battle, man, between Skeletor and He-Man. Not like
it's going to happen.
For 2 seconds, I want a battle, like an all-out 20-minute, just them fighting. Like
with the song "I Need a Hero" playing in the background.
Yes. Or I Had the Tiger.
I Had the Tiger would be great.
Like, yeah. No, I want to see Evelyn. I want to see the route she's gonna go.
Yeah.
I want to see if because I think she's gonna turn good, in my opinion. I think she's gonna switch it around, and she might be the whole thing that kind of comes back and kind of ties it all together. So.
I'm with you. I'm interested to see what they do with all the characters that have splintered and fractioned and go off of here and here.
Because the show is Mattel they don't own the rights to the Filmation one, so it's a spiritual successor. It's never supposed to be a sequel. Kevin Smith just kind of fudged that, but it's not. Yeah, they don't have the rights for it, so they can't make it exactly like the Filmation one, which is in itself a problem how they promoted it a little bit.
Yeah, it does make it difficult, and he talks about that in some of his podcasts because, whomever owns the rights, it does make it a little more difficult. But I think that also affords creative liberty that if respected could be something magical. And I think that we just haven't seen everything yet, obviously. And I'm just really interested to see where all the characters end up. Do they all go back to their original fractions, or who changes sides? We might have maybe Fisto decides to go over to Skeletor and decide to, show him some love every night instead of Prince Adam.
Or Ram Man. Ram
Man's going to go over there, and then Skeletor is going to have all the sex toy innuendos on his side, and then who knows what's going to happen. So, Sean, what do you want to see in part 2?
I want to see all these hints that we got in the first episode or the first series about every 5 seconds somebody was going to tell Tila something, and then they were stopped for some reason.
Yeah.
And then her talking about she knows that she has a power and she's afraid of it, and that's why she left. I think that's a lot of why she is the way she is.
Mm-hmm.
and I want to see that explained. I think, you guys mentioned that she was the sorceress's daughter, and that's part of the canon story somewhere else. I assume that's where they're going with it. Because even the sorceress tried to tell her something and was stopped.
I could see them doing that for sure.
Yeah. But I want them to just keep developing the characters like they're doing.
Yeah, totally agree. Jesse, what about you? What do you want to see happen in part 2?
For me, like I said, I want them to. God, I mean, obviously, I want a Skeletor He-Man battle. Like I said, the whole long. I want it because they're building to that. They're building to that.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like what they did with Justice League, where Superman shows up at the end and he's just fucking kick ass and boom,
just dominates.
Yeah. Like I said, I want to see Tila. She, like I said, she is going on this hero's journey. This knee jerk reaction that she has. I think it's just, for me, what I thought was when the reason why she's acting like it was like a breaking point for a certain character, just Adam's death. Like I was watching the Rocky films this week because I love fucking Rocky films. And Rocky's like always like, you got to push forward. You got this. You go. You got this. But then you watch Creed and it's one of his best performances. He has, in the movie, he has cancer and it's the first time where he's like, maybe I'm okay with dying. I got nothing left. My wife's dead, this, that. And it was seeing that character break who they are. It was painful to watch that. And I think that's what they were trying to do with Tila. And maybe they didn't get that correct emotion so that you could feel sorry for her. Maybe you don't feel that exactly. Because there are times, I agree with Ryan. There's times where she's like, your son died. But what the fuck? Why didn't I know shit?
right.
Because I'm taking my tiara off. I'm going to shave half of my head and fuck all of these. I'm out.
I get it. Like my best friend just died, but right after somebody says their son dies.
Yeah. And I feel bad for the king. The king lost 2 people he loved. He didn't know it was one person.
If anything, Tila and the king would have bonded over it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So did Tila.
Yeah. It was a twofer.
Yeah. And she witnessed it. Yeah.
Yeah, she witnessed it too. So it's like, and for me, like I want to see her go on her hero's journey. So far what this show has been about is the worst possible thing happening.
Yeah.
He-Man's gone.
Yep.
What are we gonna do? And we're seeing these characters now become the best versions of themselves. So I want to keep seeing that hero's journey with all of them. I want Orko to come back because, God damn it, he made me cry. And I want him back. And Roboto. Fuck it.
So I agree with what everybody said. Obviously, I want the epic showdown with He-Man and Skell God because that's what his name is.
Yeah, how did you guys feel about that when he held the sword up and said the words and it was
dope. It was dope.
Like as he's saying them, I'm like, no way.
Yeah, and then they did it, and I'm like, oh shit.
Dude, I filmed my son, and he was just like, he was blown. Like he just was like, wait, what just happened?
Right.
Like,
but it's an Empire Strikes Back moment, right? Like it's that middle of, oh man.
Yeah.
When I first watched this, I had no idea it was just 5 episodes. I had no fucking clue. So when I saw Skella God over the Castle Grayskull, I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden, I don't see. Okay, next episode, I'm like,
what?
Hey, wait a minute.
Well, that's not Kevin Smith's fault. Netflix. They split it up in 2.
Yeah. Well, they do that with the Castlevania series too.
Yeah,
they're
they do
very
that
short
stuff. Yeah, they do that.
It's the same animation company that does Castlevania, and
Blood of Zeus.
for whatever reason, they take forever.
It's Power almost went through my goddamn TV when I figured out it was only 5 episodes. I was like, what the fuck, man?
We are about out of time, but I do just want to kind of wrap up everything. I'm looking forward to part 2. I know we all are. I really hope that He-Man comes back, which I'm sure he's going to. And he not only is he going to come back, but it's going to be like when fucking Thor shows up in Infinity War with the lightning axe and just fucking levels everything like effortlessly. He doesn't even try, and he just clears the battlefield. So it's going to be something like that when He-Man shows up. It's just going to be an epic like slugfest.
take this for what it is. I was listening to what Kevin Smith said, and I'm not trusting anything he says about this goddamn show because he's lied way too much about it. But he said he's bringing in a lot of the the other characters from the original series because everybody's bitching about, oh, where's Ram Man, where's all these guys. He said they will be showing up. We should be getting an epic battle between Skeletor and He-Man for the second half.
Yeah.
Certain things are going to get concluded and all that, so take it for what it is.
I'm
This is
excited.
Kevin Smith
Yeah.
saying it. I'm excited, but I'm not going to believe a goddamn thing he says until I watch the fucking show.
We'll do another show after it wraps up, and then we'll all five of us will come back for another show once it wraps up, and then we'll all talk about how we felt, not only about part 2, but how it was as a whole.
As a whole, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, Jesse, we're about out of time. Before we do our end announcements, I do want to say that we are going to take a break from the show next week so that Jesse and I can plan out a couple more months worth of shows, and then we'll be back the following Wednesday. So no show next Wednesday. That's our planning day. Think of it as like a teacher work day, and then we'll be back the following Wednesday with more shows. Jesse, why don't you hit us up with our announcements, and let's close this thing out. This has been a great discussion and episode. I've been very happy with everybody. This has just been fantastic.
All right, I want to thank everybody who joined the show today. Ryan, Gabriel, Sean, thank you so much for being our guests. And I also want to thank our people in the comments section. Mike, Rob, thank you so much for letting it up. And for you viewers out there, thank you so much for listening in. And please be sure to check out our show and as well as past episodes on our Facebook page and on YouTube. Every new episode appears on YouTube every Thursday morning. So you can check this show out. You can share it to a friend. And we want to hear about their Master of the Universe theory, so they can comment on YouTube or comment on Facebook. Thank you guys again so much. I want to give a big shout out to another person, another unsung hero, Master of the Universe, Vance, the producer who produces the goods always. Thank you so much, Vance. You are a rock star. And again, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Next week, like I said, we're off. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for our next show. So stay tuned and check out some of the fun stuff we got on our Facebook page. And until then, I'm Jesse.
And I'm John.
And you've been sitting at the grown-ups table. Thank you and have an awesome night, everyone. Take care, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Night, everyone.